Good afternoon. This is Christopher Tipper, founder of Hunter Benefits Consulting Group and co-host of our On the Couch video series. And this is, because we're trying to be more formal, this must be our Tuesday topic. It's where we discuss a white paper. And this is an ongoing, continuous subject. The Department of Labor laid down some best practices, and we're still seeing repercussions. Can we say that? Or the repercussions are starting already from the best practice notice?
There's much hue and cry in the world about it. Yes.
Well, this is, when we first saw the best practices, we thought we would, we'll have a video talking about what the Department of Labor has done. This is episode 3 of a 3-part series, and when I was reading the notes, I wasn't sure if we might extend it out into 4, but no, okay. So we're off, right? I've got some questions for you, our normal format, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to differ from our On the Couch. This, believe it or not, is our attempt at being serious. It is a very serious subject, so if we get a bit silly, maybe it's gallows humor. It's not.
You need some levity.
You need some levity in this, all right? So, cybersecurity, planned fiduciaries, and EBSA. Number 1, Christina.
Yes.
How the heck has EBSA already started incorporating cybersecurity questions into their audit? Who gave them the mandate?
They need a mandate?
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Well, I believe what they're really doing is fact-finding.
Okay.
They're out there, they put out their best practices and their guidelines, and when they audit a plan, they're checking to see where those plans are. And they will learn a lot as to who's done what and when and where. You know, if you happen to use a software provider that hasn't kept up, and you might find that they will then start looking at all of your plans.
I know it's kind of funny to draw a little bit on this, and then we'll see if Filippo can enhance this when we do the video. But as you're saying this, I'm hoping they're going to be grading on a curve, okay? Because I think everybody's going to be over here in the failing side, or I should say most people are going to be.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, cybersecurity has its own language and its own things to look out for, and it extends beyond just the plan sponsor into the service providers.
And it is an environment, a technology that is morphing. It's faster than evolving. I mean, what is faster than evolving? It's not revolutionary, but it evolves very fastly at a pace that people in this industry are not used to.
No.
We used to, remember, once upon a time, we used to know what was coming 6 years down the road. Now we're trying to figure out what happened 6 nanoseconds ago.
Right.
So, all right.
Because there are a large group of evildoers out there just devoting all of their
bad
time.
actors, right. Yeah. So what is a cybersecurity program?
A cybersecurity program is one that looks at the risks that are evident for the plan, the participants, or the plan assets. In other words, it goes in and it looks at that and it determines, how are we going to handle this? What are we going to do to ensure that our plan is safe and everyone in it is safe?
Without getting into too much detail right now, does the cybersecurity program include what you're supposed to do if a bad thing happens?
It should.
Okay. All right.
It should.
Now, I'm guessing there's a cybersecurity glossary of terms somewhere?
Yes, there is. Yes. Filippo.
Did Filippo find it?
Filippo found it online.
Yeah, okay.
It had Cybersecurity Glossary of Terms, and we're going to post that with the white paper. And it had a lot of terms that I had heard before. There weren't too many acronyms, although they couldn't avoid totally. And but they did not have system hardening in there, which I was trying to figure out what the heck is system hardening.
Can I take a guess, Filippo? Yeah. That's to make the system, it's whatever we're doing, it's like what we're doing with our system to make it harder for the bad guys to penetrate, right? Is that right? Okay.
Exactly.
So what is the goal of a prudent annual risk assessment?
The goal is to determine whether you are up to date in knowing what risks your plan faces
Right.
in the current environment of the evildoers.
Okay.
Okay, because they change minute to minute. And an annual sounds like a really good thing, but they've done studies in the past at the DOL, and they recommended that it be done more often than that, because things happen week to week, day to day.
But I think that's also part of figuring out what somebody's prudent risk is. It should be prudent risk assessment, not prudent annual risk assessment.
Well,
what is your risk? So,
yeah.
all right.
And also, okay, forgot where I was going with
Sorry
that.
about that. Does the Yellow Pages have a section for cybersecurity auditors yet?
No.
No, maybe they should.
However,
Okay.
you could Google it and you would find them. And it's the Information Systems Audit. Oh, and I got in.
There's I remember reading the white paper. Isn't there some kind of 4-letter acronym that you get when you pass this?
Yeah, you become a certified auditor.
You become certified. It's
Yeah.
I don't remember the acronym.
Okay, well, it'll be in the show notes.
Yeah, it will be.
But if you look up the company, which is in Schaumburg, Illinois, by the way.
The people who hand out the designations is a local.
Yes.
Oh, it's a local firm. I forgot that.
And, but they are global.
Right. But the governing body is here in Schaumburg. So I can imagine that if we're going to look for one, you can't just Google one because you might be finding a bad actor. Is the recommendation that we start with the organization in Schaumburg as a place to look for one of these?
Yes.
So that we've got some idea that they're
And
reliable?
they can tell you for what you're asking them to do, which designation you really need for them to be able to do it well.
Okay.
Because I looked at the website, and there must be 10 or 12
Okay.
designations that you could have in this business. And I'm not sure a small plan, an employer with under 100 participants really needs a lot of certified people, but they need a couple of key people.
Right. The needs of an owner-only plan sponsor is different than the needs of a 3 or 4 person CPA firm doing work for that plan sponsor, is different than our needs, and is then different from one of the massive record keepers that we deal with, American Funds, John Hancock, Principal Voya, etc. So, right? It's just you need somebody to help you figure out what your needs are.
And there are people available as consultants, so you're not paying them a huge salary.
Right. Yeah. Well.
You're
right.
just
Exactly.
paying for their
Yep.
time that they're spending on and the smaller you are, the easier it may be.
Now then, inside the white paper, there's the phrase often pops up, assigned responsibilities. We're talking about, what do you mean by owning those assigned responsibilities?
Facing the repercussions of not owning the assigned.
Okay.
I mean, everyone who's assigned a duty in regard to cybersecurity really needs to step up and recognize how their activity melds with the other people who are also assigned duties.
So these are the responsibilities that should be assigned to senior staff. These are not responsibilities you assign to summer temp help that you're trying to get by with at $13 an hour.
No.
No. Okay. These are senior positions of responsibility. Now then, let's go on to something a little bit more practical, a little bit more transactional, stuff that people in our industry will come across frequently. Probably. What should happen when a new address appears in the plan online records for a participant, and then immediately afterwards a plan loan or distribution request is received?
Stop everything.
Stop,
Just
drop, and roll? No, that's
stop.
a different video. Yes.
Yeah. The problem is that those people who hack into these accounts and gain access, the first thing they do is change the address so all notifications go to them and no longer to the participant. And then they will apply for a loan or a distribution. And the only time that you really don't need to worry too much is when the participant has asked for a rollover of the entire balance into an account that's in their name and,
Right.
and their address. But, you know, it's too often they run off with the money, and I didn't know, because you can go online and you can change anything. And the problem, another problem is that participants are very naive. They believe that if they get an email that says it's from the president of the company, it must be from the president of the company. And if the president of the company tells you to send him your username and password for your account, it's the president of the company.
And no, don't.
The president of the company does not need your username and password, ever.
Which I think kind of leads on into my next question here, and it now seems blindingly obvious. I'm almost embarrassed to ask the question. I'm going to try to say it with a straight face. Why is it important to educate employees in cybersecurity awareness?
Because they are your biggest risk. There is no one who can do as much damage as a unvigilant participant.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Flinging information out there.
Right. It's not. They're not being malevolent. They just don't understand. They think they're doing the right thing, and they've no idea that they're upsetting the entire apple cart.
Right. They all write their passwords and usernames down. Okay.
I've never ever seen that in my life.
I used to do that, and then I discovered that they have software to help you with that.
Password managers, and we don't say which one we're using.
No, don't want to give anybody ideas.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've heard of this before, and I've heard of one where you log in, you put it in, and it will change your password every time you log into an account. So it's like they're the biggest risk. They know very little about it. They may have a grandchild who understands more, or a high school student that understands.
We're being very ageist here.
But it's true.
Right. So a couple of questions ago, we were talking about the assigned responsibilities. That's the senior level, okay? But when we're talking about education for cybersecurity awareness, we're talking top to bottom. Absolutely everybody needs to get the training, right?
From the mailroom to the security guard to anybody who is eligible to participate in the plan. And that now includes your 500-hour people.
It doesn't.
You have to take account for them now so that they're in the groove before they get there.
Different video. All right, now then, we're closing in on the end here, I hope. All right.
You hope?
I think I know the answer to this question, but what is a business resiliency program?
When you have a really bad day and you get a notice that somebody has hacked into your system or your accounts, you need a program to help you determine how to dig yourself out of that. Because if you don't have such a program that you have envisioned before, being hacked by and having a cybersecurity attack can ruin your company and run you out of business.
And we had one, we're not going to say what, but one of those things was done for us today by our firm, and we got the results that everything went well. Yeah, so that was part of our business resiliency program.
Oh, was that where they tried to penetrate?
No, something else. No, just part of that. So, all right. Okay. Now then, in closing, this might be closing on a little bit of a downer here, but it's a very important topic. What should a company do if there is a cybersecurity incident or breach?
Notify your local law enforcement. Now, the couple of big ones that occurred, and there are others, did not inform law enforcement. They just paid the money.
For like ransomware?
Yeah, not a good idea. We can't stop it if we can't figure out where they're coming from. We suspect where they're coming from, but we can't stop them without that knowledge. Okay. Then you have to notify your insurance carrier. Did you know that there's insurance for cybersecurity?
I've heard about it. Yeah.
I'm thinking it would be worth every penny.
Oh yeah, for everybody. Yep.
Yeah. You have to investigate what happened. How did it happen? Who was your weak link? Because there's always one.
It's who, what, where, and why.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then you need to give those people who were their information was made available to outside parties in an unauthorized manner, that you have to make sure that they have no harm.
That no harm has come to them.
And give them whatever you can give them.
For support.
And then honor all of your legal obligations.
Right.
And then last but not least, fix the problem.
Yeah, well, it's not so much patch the hole, fix the hole, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure it
improve
does
your systems.
whatever you
System
can
hardening,
do.
we talked about that a minute ago. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you can do to make sure it doesn't happen again.
All right. So thank you very much, Christina. This has been a long and arduous journey. I'm going to attempt to wrap it up in 3 bullet points on the fly here. Okay. 1, cybersecurity affects every plan sponsor, regardless of, sorry for the frog in my throat, regardless of how large or small. Number 2, this is not going to go away. This is going to be an ongoing problem. Number 3, even if you don't like to pay attention to anything tech, it's important to, if you have a position of responsibility in your firm, to start to pay attention and to see what you can do to make sure that things are going right. Does that about sum it up?
That about sums it up.
All right, so thank you very much for enduring 3 episodes on cybersecurity. I got a feeling we're going to have more in the future as we find out more about what the Department of Labor and the IRS is doing with this.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you very much. All the normal stuff, like, comment, share, etc. On our website, of course, hunterbenefits.com. And if you've got any specific questions, please feel free to reach us at sales@hunterbenefits.com, and we'll do our best to answer them. Take care.